Alright, here's the solutions to the first quiz. The first question here, really maybe it's more of a section than a question, but there's two parts talking about section 1.1. The first part, we're given a sentence and asked to kind of translate it into math, write it with symbols and variables and such. So let's see what we got here. Y is 4 less than the quotient of some number plus 1 and 3. I tried to write that as clearly as possible, although as we saw in class these can be a little ambiguous. So what do we got? Y is gets us this far, y, and then is kind of a keyword for equals. 4 less than, so we'll have something and then we have to take away 4 from it. 4 less than, and what is it 4 less than? The quotient of some number plus 1, some number plus 1, and 3. And 3. So the quotient of something and something, quotient of something and something, this first something goes in the numerator, the second something goes in the denominator. So if you ended up with something like this, you're in good shape. And then down here in part 2, it wants to know, is y equals 1 and x equals 8 a solution to this above equation? So let's just see what happens when we plug those values in. If y equals 1, we would have 1 equals, instead of x right here, we write 8. So we got 8 plus 1 divided by 3 minus 4. Maybe I should put a little question mark here because we're trying to figure out, does 1 equal this? Well, let's see here. Over on the left hand side, 8 plus 1 is 9 divided by 3 minus 4. So kind of the question is, does all this stuff equal 1? Well, it's close to 1. Let's see, 9 over 3 is equal to 3. 3 minus 4 is not 1, right? It's negative 1. So we could say something like 1 does not equal this guy because this guy equals negative 1. So to answer the question, no, this is not a solution to this equation. All right, moving on to number 2. Number 2, talking about section 1.2 stuff. We're given an improper fraction, asked to write it as a mixed number. So to express 71/7 as a mixed number, one way to do it is to use long division. You might not have needed to use long division here, but one way to illustrate the answer. 7 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. Bring down the 0. 71 minus 70 is just 1. 7 goes into 1 0 times. 7 times 0, just 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. So you end up with 10 with the remainder of 1. So to write this guy as a mixed number, we would say 71 divided by 7 equals 10. 7 goes in there 10 times, but then we kind of have one of these 7ths left over. So the mixed number would be 10 and 1/7. And down in part B, it's kind of the same idea, except now we're given a mixed number, asked to write it as an improper fraction. So what we got, 3 and 2/11, and we want to write that as an improper fraction. Maybe over to the side here, you can think of the 3, let's see, as we have 11/11 3 times. So the 3 is the same as 33/11. But really, we have 3 and 2/11, so we have 33 plus 2 more. That is, we have 35/11. So in part A and part B here especially, there's lots of different ways that you can come up with these two answers. But if you did something like that, you got them right. And that's the end of quiz 1.